So since we're talking about aging, this issue about aging here, I thought I should probably say some things about the sun. You know, the star that we live near on our planet, that is being demonized by a lot of people in the medical profession as causing all these terrible diseases. I won't mention any of them that start with the letter C, of course, that happen to your organ that starts with the letter S. I guess I can say skin without getting banned, right? Although, well, we won't go into that. Anyway, yeah, the reason these bad things show up on your skin is other reasons. And of course, I'm not giving medical advice. Please go to your medical professional, your doctor, to find out all the drugs you need to take and get on and get addicted to, and all the organs you need removed and everything. I'm not having anything to do with that stuff. I'm not in the medical profession myself. So please go to them. I'm not contradicting your doctor. Of course you do everything they say. However, I'm just giving you some other information that comes from other sources. Since we're talking about aging from the natural point of view, the indigenous people long ago, before they started getting affected by degenerative influences, they knew that everything in the biosphere was conscious. Just because it didn't look like little humans running around didn't mean that it was just inanimate and dead. That's a modern concept. They were much wiser. And you know, when I was in elementary school more than half a century ago, I learned that consciousness started about 1950 when we had 3-stage rockets and you know, advanced mathematics and all these things, and we were the brilliant people. And before about 1950 or so, everybody just worked on superstition, kind of like animals, which are not alive or conscious either, right? And the people long before that, which modern society thinks, you know, were so primitive and in a bad way and didn't know what was going on, many of those cultures, even before recorded history, were very advanced and knew a lot more than we do. It's kind of a dark age now as far as consciousness of the population is concerned. Hopefully that's going to turn around. But I just want to mention that from that ancient point of view, everything was conscious in its own way, capable of two-way communication, and the position of humans in the world was massively deeper than the superficial awareness that most of us carry around now. And one of the things that they knew was conscious and aware was what we call the sun. And even modern science understands that the sun is important for life on Earth. You wouldn't have life on Earth without the sun as it exists now. And they admit things like, well, vitamin D is kind of important, but you can just take pills if you don't get it. And you probably, it's a good idea to take a really high quality vitamin D supplement if you don't get enough in the ideal way, which is sunlight, the way that you need to get as much as you can. And so people are fearing the sun now. They're staying away from it. But my experience is that we need the sun as much as plants do, just in a different way. And that it carries a lot more than vitamin D. When I wasn't getting enough sunlight every day, or most days, I used to take 5,000 or 10,000 units of vitamin D, D3, from the best source I could find, which you can find on I almost said a prohibited word, lostartsradio.com, or get in touch with us and we'll let you know what we found the best ones to be. We're not selling it, but I've had experience with a few different qualities of sources of these things. But sunlight is unmatched. It's far better than anything you can take that's synthetic, or even natural sources from lichen, which is one of the best ones, from globalhealingcenter.com, or from other ones that I can't mention because we'd be banned right away. Anyway, sun is important. It's important for your eyes, and it's important for your skin, and it's important for your whole body, and it's important for how you're going to age. And the investigation that I've done is that the people who get this terrible condition on their skin that starts with a C that I don't want to mention, most of them have no sun exposure or very little. It's not that the sun is causing all of that. It's not true. At least in the reading that I've done, people I've talked to. If you get enough sun on your skin, it doesn't destroy your skin and turn it into, you know, a mummy or something like that. It's good for you. You're designed to be out in the sun all the time. Humans probably originated in their current form in southern Africa. And I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of sunlight there. And it's more direct between the two, you know, the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn around the equatorial region. They have a lot of sun there. And as some of the humans migrated toward the poles, they were missing sunlight that they really needed. And as a result, their skin, which was very dark, started to adapt and get lighter and lighter and lighter, so that it would be able to absorb every single bit of life-giving energy from the sun in the form of the rays of the sun, and which modern science hardly understands at all, like most things. And that's how you got what we superficially call these different races, right? Originally, when people lived in their normal environment, they had very dark skin. And then they migrated, some of them, farther and farther away from the good sun areas. These food sources changed. They had to start depending on totally different sources of food that were not natural for them. If they got far enough away, they had to live on a 100% carnivorous diet, which humans are not designed for at all. They do better with no meat whatsoever. But you have to learn how to do it once you've gotten away from the natural habit. Anyway, the unnatural environment far from the equator and the total absence of sunlight during a lot of the year was really stressful on the body and caused different kind of aging, and it still does. So if you're not used to the sun anymore, and you're living indoors all the time, you're always dressed in clothes that cover you up and everything, then you can't just run out and lie in the sun all day. You get burned up. You've got to get used to it slowly. But if you combine that with learning how to detox your body and get back to the lifestyles that we're designed for, with the right food and drink, and get away from the poison and polluted air as much as you can, and learn about grounding, which we'll talk about, and change your patterns of thoughts and emotions that you carry around with you all the time, which affect every cell in your body constantly. Learn to change all those things back to harmony with laws of nature that we're not taught anymore. Once you get your body cleaned out, you don't burn the same in the sun. Even if your skin's fairly light, it's a totally different reaction. So what I found after a long time of working toward that whole detox protocol is that now, I lie out in the sun at noon in low latitudes and I don't get burned at all. In the past, I would have just gotten really wiped out by it, but now it doesn't have the same effect at all. It's totally different. And it doesn't have the same effect on your eyes either. In the beginning, when you're not used to it, you've been away from the sun for a long time, you can't even get in very bright light. It starts hurting, and people get dependent on sunglasses, which keep vital energies out of your eyes it's really not good for you. I think there's a number of things written that how lack of sunlight affects your bone density and things like that. It's really important to learn the things that the knowledge that's kept away from us now. And people are so sick, and every kind of disease is just off the chart. People are aging in ways that are completely unnecessary and abnormal. And we're told by the media and the government agencies that, we're the healthiest we've ever been, and people are living longer than they ever have, and all this kind of stuff. It's not true at all. The opposite is happening. And one of the reasons is we don't appreciate sunlight anymore. So your eyes, in my experience, do need it, but you can't just run out and get in bright light right away when you're not used to it. You've got to be really slow. And some of the famous sanitariums in Europe have brought people out in the early morning and right before the sun goes down and start exposing them to it a little bit. They don't look right at the sun or anything like that. They just are out in the daylight when it's dim in the beginning, and then gradually get to more full normal light. And I can tell you from experience that much later on, the light feels good, doesn't hurt you anymore. You know, you don't have all these unnatural reactions in it. Some things are possible that you wouldn't imagine. It's really true. So learn about them. Learn about those laws of nature that have been hidden from us, because it'll help you if you learn how to apply them. And a lot of that we can't talk about on the public channels, or we'll get banned from them right away. So we started a private platform called Planetary Healing Club. That's not the name of the platform, that's the name of our group meeting on a private platform. And there's an access portal to it through planetaryhealingclub.com, and you can find that anytime you want to with on the internet. And we're live there every week. I'm there with other people that are interested in these things and ready to actually start transforming your own everyday life experience to something totally different that we've gotten a long way away from. And learning how to come back in harmony with the laws of nature that affect everything: what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, types of exercise your body needs, thought and emotional patterns, all these things to bring you back into harmony with nature so that you don't experience aging like we're told is normal. You know, going through this hellish period called the golden years where your body eventually totally breaks down and you don't know who anybody is, and your brain doesn't work anymore, and it's really bad. That's not normal. That is not normal. And if, wisdom would be to say, oh yeah, I'm down here in a physical body right now in this physical world. Maybe I should learn how it works. And that doesn't mean you have to read all the medical books, although you certainly can if you want to. But it means that things you have to learn are the things that we're not taught, that they don't learn in medical school, where they're taught safe and effective, safe and effective. The real basis of health that would make doctors able to do things that are totally lost to them now. Those are the things you have to learn. So if you want to, join us at planetaryhealingclub.com, but I have to warn you, it's not a spectator sport, or at least you don't get really make good use of your time by doing it that way. It's self-awareness. That leads to awareness of everything else. And it's like the hidden access portal to any kind of knowledge that you're after. You have to start with self-assessment and correcting our own deficiencies and learning exciting things that we thought were magic and didn't exist. They do exist. And that's what we talk about on those meetings. PlanetaryHealingClub.com. But what I can say is the sun is this amazing life-giving energy that without which life as we know it on this planet or any other planet around here wouldn't exist. And yet we hide from it like it's going to cause these terrible diseases. The reason it seems to is we're so toxic that when the sun activates the skin and the poisons start coming out through every orifice of the body and the skin trying to get it cleaned out, and the corrosive poison coming out badly affects the skin and it can do some bad things, and then the person says, oh yeah, the sun is causing this terrible disease. That's not what's happening. So learn to see these things in more depth, and the way to do that, the way to become capable of it, is to learn about yourself. That's topic number one, and that's what we talk about in Planetary Healing Club meetings. So when you're ready to really do some serious work on yourself, you can join us in there. No obligation. You can quit right away if you want to, but we're trying to transform people's lives, and everybody does it themselves. Nobody does it to somebody else. Nobody's following me as a teacher or anything like that. They're just learning to do these things themselves, and abilities that they've carried from the beginning and never even imagined it. And I do have an ulterior motive in the whole thing, and that is that for the people that want to go further and further and further and get in the best condition they have imagined, limited maybe to some extent by the damage they've already done, but even with that, a lot of it's reversible if you know what to do. And I'm hoping that some of the people that do that process will then go further and use the inner abilities that come back to them as a result to play a part in helping to heal the world that we're in before it's too late, before those that are intentionally destroying it, which they are. And I don't mean crazy people that are, just among the general population running around. I mean our leaders way above the level of the visible rulers. Their intent is not to let this biosphere continue, and I don't think that's a very good idea. So the hidden key to saving it, turning it around and bringing back sanity and harmony and the level of life on this planet that could exist, in my opinion, the secret key to that is you. And you think you're just 1 out of 7 billion people and can't do anything and need a team of experts to tell you what to do with your life and all this nonsense that we've been programmed, and we are being programmed every day, those of you who are unfortunate enough to be watching television and normal news channels and stuff like that. You're an incredible being, and not just that, that's a radical understatement. It's like you're the hidden key to turning around the situation that we've got here, where the survival of all life on this planet is hanging by a thread. That's not some kind of environmental hoax, it's real. A lot of the people on the so-called conservative side can't understand that. They've figured out that the global warming hoax and the climate change hoax are fake, and they're right, but that doesn't mean that there's no real environmental emergency. I know I've kind of harped on this a little bit, but it's really, really important. Forget the political identification with one side or the other and the fighting and the need to say what an idiot the other side is. That's so juvenile. Drop the labels. Look at what's really happening. The biosphere is in trouble, but giving up all your rights is not the answer to that. That's part of the hoax side of it. The real answer to that is learn about what's been hidden from you inside yourself. And as your natural abilities come back, use them to help heal this place while we're here. Can't think of anything better to do, And it would benefit us a lot, as well as the kids and the generations trying to come in the future. Let's leave them a place that's beautiful to come into instead of the destroyed wasteland that our leaders are pushing for reasons that most of us don't even understand. We can do it, and you're the key. You are literally the key. So, if you want to get further into that, I'll meet you at the live meetings on Saturday where we can talk more freely. PlanetaryHealingClub.com. People have asked me if I do private sessions still. If you really need it and you want to transform your life and you think would really be helped by some one-on-one time, I do some of those. And if you're interested in what's required for that, you can email me, richard@lostartsradio.com, if you feel like it. But the club is available for everybody that sincerely wants to upgrade their life experience. And I'll meet you there regardless. Otherwise, I'll make as many of these free videos as I can for during the week. Everybody can see those. No obligation, no club to join, no money or anything like that. And I'll say as much as I feel like I can. I just don't want to get banned off all our big platforms at once if we can help it. And some of them are attacking now. So I'm trying to stay visible, as long as we can. Now, in case they all shut down and we can't access, which that is the plan actually, and I hope it doesn't happen. The government's doing nothing to protect us from that right now, and I hope they wake up and do. But in the meantime, go to lostartsradio.com, sign up on our mailing list, which we're not really using right now, but if we get banned, then we can get information to you that way if that's the only way, and we won't lose touch completely. That's at lostartsradio.com, which will also say where our videos are posted, which is many platforms right now, and audio too. Also, Brighteon.com is one really worth knowing about that I mention a lot. BRIGHTEON.com/channel/LostArtsRadio, and use that place, Brighteon.com, as much as you can, including our channel, because they're just starting out. Mike's put a huge amount of money into it. The point of it is to have a place, an alternative for videos that won't censor. And it's really worthwhile. So Brighteon.com/channel/LostArtsRadio. And also we have a new Subscribe page, because we're not pushing products or anything. The money that comes in from my private sessions or from the small club dues all goes to our nonprofit research institute. And if we get enough money through that or some other clean source that shows up, I don't know if it ever will, then what I'm supposed to do is build a school that will be unlike anything else I know of on the planet. And if you're a friendly billionaire that wants to help something good, please help us with that. If you're somebody that wants to come in and control it and have strings attached, we can't do it. But you know, that's one of the projects that will happen if we get money. And the Subscribe Star page is set up for small to medium-sized donations. Take a look at it, subscribestar.com/LostArtsRadio, if you want to help us out. That would be nice. And as I say, the club dues and the private session money goes to the nonprofit, and that will help too, building toward that goal of the projects we want to see happen. Anyway, sorry to make it so long. I had intended for it to be really short. Learn about the sun. Okay, that's going to impact how you age. And do the investigation. It's worth it. And I'll see you next time.